After you've entered the information, read the affirmation statement. If you agree with the affirmation statement, check the box and then click Save. If you do not check the box, you will not be able to proceed.
That is a tutorial video from the Illinois State Police released yesterday. The opening of the state's ban on certain types of firearms, semi-automatic firearms, 50 caliber firearms, and even ammunition, plus attachments to those what are defined by the State House as assault weapons. The registration is now open, and October 1st being the opening of that window, January 1st being when that window closes, and when you could possibly face criminal penalties from a Class A misdemeanor to a Class 3 felony for the second and subsequent offenses, as all part of the Protect Illinois Communities Act. Welcome in Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. So we've been watching for this date for quite some time. Sunday was the date, and you've got Illinois State Police that put out a statement early Sunday, essentially saying that people can now submit an endorsement affidavit online for, quote, assault weapons, assault weapon attachments, 50 caliber rifles, and 50 caliber cartridges. One of the big things that people were waiting to see, of course, you could have read the rules that were filed, the emergency rules for this particular gun registry, and that was filed several weeks ago, as we reported here. But those rules did not spell out that you have to file an affidavit for magazines, for the what the legislature determined as expanded magazines. And you've got the question still remaining, though. What are attachments? Because you do have to file something with Illinois State Police on that end. So let's go ahead and, part of this announcement, Illinois State Police said that there's a video tutorial. It's about 6 minutes long. If you're familiar with the FOID card, the Firearm Owner Identification Card online portal, that's essentially where you're going to go to file your sworn affidavit that you are in possession of these firearms that the legislature banned before January 10th. Again, nowhere in here either does it address those who purchased certain semi-automatic firearms during that 6-day window when the Southern District of Illinois enjoined the states from enforcing the Protect Illinois Communities Act. So that's not addressed here. Illinois State Police had already previously said that if it was purchased after January 10th, it cannot be registered. So all of this going on while we still don't have any outcome in the Seventh Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals, which is the challenge of Illinois' gun and magazine ban on the grounds of Second Amendment complaints. So that's still pending in the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals. It's been months since they heard that decision, while we see other decisions across the country popping off and going off to different appellate courts and whatnot, especially over in California. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But for Illinois, it's still pending. And you've even got a Southern District case challenging it on vagueness grounds. That's going to be heard in just about 9 days or so. Then you have in state court even Attorney Thomas DeVore trying to get a reconsideration on his cases, challenging the gun and magazine ban on grounds that it violates equal protections, because this does not apply. The registry does not apply to police officers, retired police officers, prison wardens, jail guards, those in the private security sector for firearms that they use in their official capacity. And whether or not training was behind that, it wasn't necessarily spelled out in the law as to how many hours so-and-so had to train in order to be able to be exempt. So that's part of DeVore's argument in the state court. But again, in federal court, where everybody really recognizes it's the federal courts that are the ones that are going to be determining the constitutionality of such bans, like in Illinois, especially with the registry. But also still unanswered is whether there's going to be a challenge in federal courts about the Fifth Amendment, your right against self-incrimination. So, do you have the right to not tell police that you own a firearm that the legislature says is illegal? So a lot of questions here still floating around. But let's get back to the tutorial that Illinois State Police laid out when it comes to walking you through how you can register your firearms that are spelled out by the legislature as being illegal. So here's a little bit of that tutorial.
Under the application summary on your dashboard, there is a yellow box that says Weapon, Ammo, Accessory Disclosure. Click on that box. This will take you to a new window where you can choose the type of disclosure for weapons, accessories, and/or ammunition. If you're disclosing a weapon, click the green Disclose box next to Weapons. You will then enter the information either by typing in the information or selecting from a list. You will enter the maker of the firearm. As you type, the maker may automatically populate the cell. If the maker is not included, type Unknown and enter the maker along with the model number in the model type box. You'll need to enter the following information. Choose the weapon type from the drop-down list. Enter the model type. If you previously chose Unknown for the maker type, enter the maker and model number in this box. Type in the serial number and then select the caliber from the list. Finally, enter the date you acquired the weapon. If you do not know when you acquired the weapon, check the Date Unknown box. After you've entered the information, read the affirmation statement. If you agree with the affirmation statement, check the box and then click Save. If you do not check the box, you will not be able to proceed.
So that's an interesting little point there. I do want to pause on here. A couple of different things. You've got this affirmation statement that says, under penalties, trying to read this, as provided in the law, pursuant to the law, I, under oath, swear, affirm, and certify that by checking this box, that the requirements set forth in this, I'm trying to read it real close here from the YouTube video because I haven't logged in and done this, are that they are correct. I don't see here where it says it's being done voluntarily. Let me just read here. Entering false information is against the law. So yeah, that whole issue of you're doing this voluntarily, I think that's one thing that, the rules spelled out, but is it spelled out in this affirmation? And clicking that box, if you don't click that box, you can't proceed. So it's not just for the firearms. You've got the tutorial also spelling out. It's for attachments. And this is where a lot of people, I think, are going to have some serious questions as to, well, what's considered an attachment. So here is more from that tutorial.
If you have an accessory to disclose, next to the subheading Accessories, click the green Disclose box. You will then enter the manufacturer of the accessory, the attachment type, the model or part number, and type in a description of the attachment. After you have entered the information, read the affirmation statement. If you agree with the affirmation statement, check the box and then click Save.
But what if you don't agree with the affirmation statement? Then are you clear? I mean, I don't know. But it's not just attachments, it's also ammunition.
Similarly, if you have ammunition to disclose, next to ammunition, click the green Disclose box. Only .50 caliber ammunition that is capable of being fired from a center fire rifle is required to be disclosed. You will need to enter the manufacturer of the ammunition. The caliber box is already pre-populated with .50 caliber cartridge, and then enter the quantity of ammunition. After you have entered the information, read the affirmation statement. If you agree with the affirmation statement, check the box and then click Save.
So we're hearing a tutorial from Illinois State Police about how to register your firearms, attachments, and ammunition. Now, they don't call them firearms there. They call them weapons. Some people may not define their firearms as weapons because they're not used to go in a weapon fashion to be an implement used to harm somebody else. They may call them, a self-defense firearm, but I guess, definitions are definitions. But one thing here also is you'll need an email address and a driver's license or state ID to create an account in order to do this. If not, then you can go to a Illinois State Police kiosk to do this. But it says, again, do not bring your weapon, ammunition, or accessories if you visit a kiosk. And when you get all this loaded into the website, Illinois State Police say, hey, you can go and modify things.
All the disclosures you entered on your dashboard, weapons, accessories, and ammunition, can be edited or removed by you at any time by clicking on the yellow Edit or red Remove boxes. To print a list of your disclosures, scroll down to the bottom of the Weapon, Ammunition, and Accessory Disclosure page and click the blue box that says Print Disclosure Summary. Clicking on this box will create a PDF document that can be saved and then printed.
So, how do you feel about this? Would love to get your thoughts. 217-629-7970. That's the phone number again, 217-629-7970. You can call in live and local. And we're live, 6:22 in the morning. So let's hear from you. Are you going to follow through with this? I've seen a lot of comments on social media that no, people are not going to comply with this, especially with it still pending in court cases. So let's hear from you at 217-629-7970.
All the disclosures you entered on your dashboard, weapons, accessories, and ammunition, can be edited or removed by you at any time by clicking on the yellow Edit or red Remove boxes. To print a list of your disclosures, scroll down to the bottom of the Weapon, Ammunition, and Accessory Disclosure page and click the blue box that says Print Disclosure Summary. Clicking on this box will create a PDF document that can be saved and then printed.
Well, what about that information? Is it going to be secure? I mean, you're putting this information online with addresses linked to individuals and even the ability to print PDFs of the list of firearms. Is that going to be safe from potential hackers? 217-629-7970 is the phone number. I do just want to flash back to August of 2021 when I reported out that indeed the Illinois State Police firearm owner identification card portal was compromised in a hack with around 2,000 people's cardholder information possibly compromised. So your thoughts on this? I want to get your calls at 217-629-7970. Again, it is Springfield's Morning News. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Hi, my name's Chris.
Yep, go right ahead.
The thing that I'm worried about is who are the people that are voluntarily entering this so early? It's just October 2nd, and I worry that this will be compromised. And why don't we let the people file the lawsuits? I would wait to the last second, but I'm not going to comply. And the problem being is, let's say that the court files or finds that this is unconstitutional. Does this information ever go away? No, it's on the server. It's on a cloud. Somebody printed it off in the government. They're never going to get rid of this. So even if they do find in our favor that this registry is unconstitutional, they'll still have all your information. And that's what I want these people to understand that are going to voluntarily do this. Let the people who are filing the lawsuits enter in some generic thing or enter in one old revolver or whatever it is to do that. And then let's see how the court process plays out. But that's the thing I don't understand is who's rushing to do this. And it's so troubling just driving to work and listening to you play off the tutorial. It just infuriates me, and I wonder how many other people behind me that are calling into you or are listening today are absolutely infuriated listening to that tutorial. Does any other place, Greg, in the country have a registry like what Illinois is doing? I'll hang up and listen.
Yeah, and there are several states that do have registries. I don't know if they have it set up as Illinois has it set up, but even those, are being challenged in some aspects. But obviously, yeah, if the court challenge is still pending, and you've got a deadline of January 1st to register or face those criminal penalties. October 1st was just the window opening, right? But January 1st is the deadline for you to register if the law is not struck down or if the law is upheld. Then if you don't register that firearm by January 1st or all the firearms by January 1st, then you could face a Class A misdemeanor for the first offense and then a Class 3 felony for the second and subsequent offenses, and that could come with prison time. So, a lot of questions here. Of course, the attachments and accessories, as they call them. What is exactly going to be an accessory? Is that all the different types of pins and bolts that might be operable on your power tool, but also could be used on your firearm? What about, the idea of people who have multiple? And I mean multiple, by tens or dozens of different types of attachments or different types of even semi-automatic firearms, because this isn't just AR-15s and AK-47s. This is certain types of semi-automatic shotguns, certain types of handguns that accept a magazine of more than 15 rounds. But here we have, the rules that were laid out. They've opened the window. Registration can now take place. case while there's still a court case pending, and also questions still lingering as to what's an attachment, how this endorsement affidavit, which I do want to pull it up because the video, of course, is very. The tutorial looks at the various ways to do this, and it's a screen capture, but I do want to read to you the endorsement affidavit. I had to bump up the quality of the video to read this, so let me read this to you. It says, entering false information on this form is punishable as perjury under the law. Entering false information on this form is a violation of the Firearms Owner Identification Card Act. And then you click under penalties as provided by law, pursuant to the law. I, under oath, swear, affirm, and certify by checking this box that this statement set forth in this instrument are true and correct. I don't necessarily see anything in here about, voluntarily doing this, which is something that the rules spelled out. So, yeah, again, this is just launched on Sunday. Here we are on Monday, and we're talking about it. Get your call at 217-629-7970. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Yes. The only way to deal with this is mass noncompliance. I agree with the last guy. I have to question if you're actually a true American if you comply with this. I'll hang up and let you.
No, I appreciate the call. I mean, listen, this is one of the things I'm going to be checking with the Illinois State Police, if not by Friday, then first thing on next Monday, is how many filings have there been? I'm not asking for the names or anything. I'm not asking for the types of weapons. I might ask for how many firearms have been registered, but how many people so far in that first week have complied. And maybe I do a regular update and get those numbers and just see where we're at. But it's anticipated that the compliance rate is going to be very low for this. And what does that mean ultimately? We had Illinois State Police say before this law was passed, Brendan Kelly said that they're going to be looking more for compliance to this. It's not going to be an enforcement issue. It's going to be more of just a compliance issue. So they're just asking people to comply with this. Will they go out and actually enforce this? The initial signs were that not necessarily, but we shall see how this ultimately plays out, especially if the law is upheld and the deadline of January 1st kicks in with those potential criminal penalties when it comes to registering your firearms. We'll watch all of this, of course, and keep you updated. Follow me anywhere. Just search Bishop on Air. If you follow me on X, you saw the all this information well before Sunday morning. I tweeted it out, so you can go and check that out. But, we'll definitely be tracking this and continuing to track this as even the court cases are still